The corridors of the human starship Aurora were quieter than usual. The hum of the engines mingled with the distant clatter of maintenance drones, producing a rhythm that felt almost meditative. On board, the human crew was preparing for their next mission in the border system of Rilith 5, a region known for both its rich mineral resources and occasional rogue alien activity. Yet in one of the observation decks, a more unusual interaction was about to unfold, one that would quietly shift the perception of humans for an alien being who had, until now, considered them nothing more than unpredictable creatures. Alira had observed countless species in her long lifetime, each with peculiar behaviors and physical quirks. She was a vampire woman from the remote system of Cathora species known for their heightened senses, longevity, and a culture steeped in secrecy. Her kind typically avoided direct contact with humans. Their impulsiveness and emotional volatility made them difficult to predict. Yet here she was, aboard a human vessel, her eyes flicking with cautious curiosity at the crew. Alira was tall and graceful, her presence commanding yet enigmatic. Her hair fell like a cascade of midnight silk, and her skin had a subtle luminescent quality that humans often found unsettling. Her eyes, a pale violet hue, scanned the room with an intensity that made some crew members step back instinctively. Humans, despite their reputation for adaptability, still struggled to mask their unease around beings like her, the human she was observing most closely. Captain Eli moved with an easy confidence that struck her as both unusual and disarming. He had an approachable demeanor, unlike many humans she had encountered, and his calm authority seemed to radiate from him naturally. He spoke to his crew in a tone that was firm yet patient, a balance that Alira found perplexing. She had expected humans to be loud, chaotic, or aggressive in their mannerisms, but Eli's crew followed his orders with quiet efficiency, almost as if he carried an invisible tether connecting them. Alira's initial assignment was simple: observe and report. That humans had requested her presence for diplomatic purposes, their emissaries insisting that a representative of her species could provide insight into the growing tensions in the border system. She had agreed, though more out of curiosity than necessity. Ketha had little interest in the affairs of humans, yet she could not deny a fascination with the species that had survived against odds far greater than most of the galactic civilizations she had witnessed. It was during one of the ship's briefings that the incident occurred. Eli was explaining the plan for a reconnaissance mission over a newly discovered asteroid cluster rumored to harbor hidden outposts of rogue aliens. Alira sat in the corner, her arms crossed, her eyes narrow as she listened. Her expression was stoic, as always, betraying nothing of her thoughts. As Eli concluded the briefing, one of the junior officers, nervous and eager to impress, spoke up. "Captain, are you sure humans can handle this alone? I mean, we've only mapped 20% of the cluster, and some of these readings are unusual." Eli nodded, acknowledging the concern. "That's exactly why we're sending a reconnaissance team first. We adapt, we learn, and we act accordingly. That's what makes humans effective." Alira raised an eyebrow at the remark, her lips curling in a faint, almost imperceptible smile. Humans prided themselves on adaptability, yet she had always thought of them as fragile, short-lived, and predictable in their recklessness. Then came the comment. It was small, almost careless, but it struck her in a way she did not expect. "You humans really do everything with guts," said a young communications officer, leaning slightly on the console. "I mean, it's kind of awkward how brave you are sometimes. Like, way too brave for your own good." The words hung in the air, and for the first time since she had boarded the Aurora, Alira felt a flicker of emotion, surprise, maybe even amusement. She turned her head slowly, fixing the officer with a gaze so intense it made him shift uncomfortably in his seat. Eli, noticing her attention, raised a hand in reassurance. Alira's reaction was not the haughty disdain humans often anticipated. Instead, she allowed herself the faintest chuckle, a sound soft and melodious but enough to send a ripple of unease through the room. Her kind did not laugh easily at anything other than irony or misfortune, and certainly not at casual remarks. "Guts?" she asked, her voice smooth and measured, yet carrying a weight that made the room quiet. "You think that is courage?" the officer stammered, realizing he had drawn the attention of someone who could have ended his life with a thought. I didn't mean." Alira's smile widened, and it was as if the darkness in the room itself leaned in closer to listen. "Interesting," she said softly. "From where I stand, you humans often act out of foolishness. Yet somehow, you survive, you endure, and you adapt. That is remarkable." The young officer blinked, unsure whether to feel insulted or honored. Eli, sensing the shift in atmosphere, smiled wryly. "Alira has a point," he said. "Humans aren't perfect, but we have a tendency to find a way forward, even when the odds are stacked against us." Alira's gaze lingered on Eli, and something inside her shifted. She had expected condescension, mockery, or fear, but she had not expected sincerity. Humans, she realized, possessed a resilience that transcended their physical limitations. It was an instinctive, almost primal force, yet tempered by intellect and emotion, and in Eli she saw it embodied clearly. The moment passed and the briefing concluded. Crew members moved to their stations, the ship's engines humming louder as the Aurora prepared to depart. Alira remained in the observation deck, her hands folded, her mind racing. The awkward comment had revealed something unexpected. Humans were not merely impulsive, they were courageous in ways her species seldom valued. Over the next few days, Alira found herself observing the humans more closely. She followed the reconnaissance mission through the ship's monitors, noting how the crew handled unexpected anomalies, how they communicated under stress, how they innovated on the fly. Every time a challenge arose, she saw humans responding with resourcefulness and tenacity, often achieving results that would have seemed impossible to any other species she had encountered. During one of the mission's tense moments, an asteroid's magnetic field interfered with the navigation systems of a human shuttle, with crew, instead of panicking, recalibrated manually, relying on instinct and rapid problem-solving. Alira's eyes followed every calculation, every decision, until the shuttle passed safely through the field. She felt a flicker of admiration, though she would never admit it aloud later. As the Aurora docked at a small mining colony for resupply, Alira accompanied Eli to negotiate with the local authorities. The colony's governor was wary of outsiders, especially aliens, and the discussion teetered on the edge of hostility. Humans might have faltered in such circumstances. What Eli's calm demeanor and steady reasoning won the governor over. While Alira quietly observed the exchange, she realized something that day. Humans did not rely solely on physical power or intimidation. Their strength lay in their ingenuity, their willingness to confront uncertainty, and their ability to inspire loyalty. It was a quality her species seldom possessed, preferring control and superiority over collaboration. And yet, humans thrived in chaos, finding opportunity where others saw only danger. Back aboard the ship, Alira approached Eli during a quiet moment in the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly beyond the hull, glittering like shards of light in the darkness. She regarded him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. "You humans are peculiar," she said finally. "I expected arrogance, recklessness, ignorance. Instead I find resilience, curiosity, and a strange sort of honor." Perhaps the awkward comment I overheard was not so awkward after all. Eli smiled, the corners of his eyes crinkling. "I think humans surprise everyone eventually, some more than others." Alira's lips curved into a faint smile. "Perhaps I have underestimated you." And in that moment, something unspoken passed between them, a recognition that transcended language, species, and expectation. Alira, the alien vampire woman who had viewed humans as fragile and chaotic, now understood a fundamental truth. Their strength was not in what she could see at first glance. It lay in their spirit, their adaptability, and their unwavering will to endure. The next leg of the mission took them deeper into uncharted space, and Alira found herself more engaged than she had anticipated. She offered insights during strategic discussions, not out of obligation, but because she wanted to see humans succeed. And for the first time in her long life, she experienced something akin to respect, not the fear-based respect her species commanded, but genuine admiration. During an encounter with a hostile alien vessel, Eli's crew executed maneuvers that would have seemed reckless to any traditional strategist. Yet Alira watched as humans calculated risk in ways her species seldom considered. They relied on intuition, teamwork, and sheer determination. When the conflict ended with minimal damage and the enemy retreating, Alira felt a pulse of something unfamiliar. "Pride, you humans," she murmured, almost to herself. "You are more than I imagined."